I'm Dick Slansky. I'm a senior analyst for ARC Advisory Group. I primarily focus on certain areas in the market. One of them is PLM, Product Lifecycle Management, and the technologies around that. ARC Advisory Group is basically a industrial analyst firm. We're seeing some major trends, and in the course of this research that I recently did, I uncovered a lot of things that were quite interesting. And one thing I have to talk about specifically would be the actual global pandemic that's been going on for the last 2 years. Now, of all the industries and manufacturing and businesses, globally speaking, the pandemic probably impacted global commercial air transport the most. When they shut down those operations, then all their maintenance and operations personnel were all furloughed because there were no aircraft to maintain. A lot of the carriers are in the process of replacing their aging fleets. Some of these airframes are 40 years old. It's time to start retiring some of these airplanes. Now, and all the major carriers have been in a very extensive process of replenishing, replacing their aging aircraft. They had a dual challenge. They had to keep a group of maintenance technicians that could maintain aging aircraft, while at the same time going through a learning curve, bringing on the new technology and new aircraft. Now that's going to continue. And this is where the MRO solutions, the new MRO solutions, the next generation MRO solutions will come into play, because the carriers are going to depend on very comprehensive, robust software and solutions for their MRO to help compensate for their manpower shortage, to help compensate for their new technologies. They need the flexibility of good MRO solutions. But what we're finding is that all businesses and all companies have to operate on a enterprise scale level now. And digitalization is just the way that we implement that. But the trend is, and what companies want, what carriers want, is they want those MRO solutions connected informationally to the rest of their operations, to their reservations and their scheduling, to their flight crew information, to their workforce information. So if you can start to improve your profit margins and improve your efficiency in certain areas that you can control, like maintenance and MRO, then that'll help mitigate those areas that maybe you don't have as much control on. So I think from a financial point of view, yeah, that would be very significant. I see Scepter basically going away. I think the MRO software has reached a point of robustness, sophistication, and maturity that it's going to really probably meet the needs at an enterprise scale level, which is the important thing here. I did an MRO market study probably about 7 or 8 years ago. At that point in time, the market in terms of the players was quite different. Maintenix was up in the top 3. IFS acquired Maintenix. That significantly changed the game. I think that the significant thing, but when Scepter goes away, that's going to leave IFS as the big kid on the block, so to speak, in terms of the market leader. And I think that's just a result of their very astute acquisition of Maintenix at the right time, and then continuing to penetrate that market with the leading carriers. What we're going to see in the next 20 years is going to be a radical change from what we're used to. It's not going to resemble that old model we've seen. They're going to be larger, they're going to have larger payloads, they're going to have more people on it. And we're going to see radical changes in propulsion. Maintaining this next generation, these new fleets, these new technologies, there's going to be a whole set of propulsion systems and engines to maintain. I think that's what we're going to look forward to, the future of air transport.